Hello. In this video, we'll be going over IRS Form 3903, moving expenses. So this is a tax form that used to be much more widely used for documenting employee moving expenses that were not reimbursed by their employer. However, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017 removed this tax deduction for everyone except for certain armed forces members. And in 2025, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act made that permanent. It could have sunset at the end of 2025, but the tax law that was passed made that a permanent restriction. So the only people that can actually claim moving expenses are members of the military that are on active duty and are PCSing, otherwise known as a permanent change of station, due to military orders. And even then, there are restrictions within this. So this is a pretty straightforward tax form. This is what it is, 5 lines. First thing you have to do is check this, because the only people that can actually claim this expense would be members of the armed forces and their families. So that checkbox is added specifically to certify that you meet those requirements. Now, even for active duty personnel or military personnel on active duty, there are a couple of definitions that you need to be aware of. So permanent change of station for tax purposes consists a move away from your home to your home of record to your first duty assignment when appointed, reappointed, reinstated, or inducted into service. A move from one permanent duty station to another, or a move from your last duty station to your home or to a closer point in the United States within 1 year of ending active duty. And then spouse and dependents, you are covered as well for this if your service member is a deserter, if they're prisoned, if they pass away. A permanent change of station for you would include a move to that place of enlistment, or the home of record, your home of record, or a closer point in the United States. Now, we've covered the military service part of this. We're going to talk about which moving expenses are deductible and which ones are not. So if you move because of a PCS, you can deduct only reasonable unreimbursed expenses. So if you're one of those members that has everything covered, either through household goods move or what is known as a do-it-yourself move or a duty move or partial duty move, and none of that is covered. So you can't double dip with this benefit. You can't claim the free benefit or get reimbursed for a duty move and then claim the expenses on your tax return as a deduction. You can claim expenses that are not covered by either the duty move or the household goods move. So, for example, if you had everything arranged and then for some reason you bought a new dishwasher before leaving, but after everything was packed away and you had to rent a U-Haul to drive that across country, and that wasn't part of your reimbursed move or your travel orders, then you could put that on your tax return. So the travel expenses you can either deduct for car expenses. Again, you get reimbursed on the military side for mileage generally. So anything that is unreimbursed, you can either deduct your actual out-of-pocket expenses or the mileage based on the standard mileage rate. So for 2025, that would be 21 cents per mile. So I think we've covered most of this. The last part would be expenses that are not deductible. So any part of a new home purchase, car tags, driver's license, expenses for like pretty much anything related to buying your home, breaking a lease, home improvements, a loss on the sale of your home, Mortgage penalties, real estate taxes, refitting your carpet and draperies. This is actually listed in the IRS instructions. Return trips to your former residence, security deposits, and storage charges, except for those that are incurred in transit and for foreign moves. And a foreign move consists of a move from the United States to or its territories to a foreign country, or from one foreign country to another. Let's see. I think we've covered enough of the definitions. We're just going to go through this line by line now. So transportation is storage of household goods and personal effects. According to the instructions, you can enter the amount that you paid to pack, crate, move your household goods. Also include any amount that you paid to store and insure household goods and personal effects within 30 days, right? Storage fees. Now, if you moved in an earlier tax year, if you're only claiming storage fees during your absence, if any amount that the government paid for storage fees is included on your W-2, you would actually put those storage fees on Schedule 1 in line 14, and then there's a box in Schedule 1 that you can check for line 14 for storage fees. Now, let's see. Let's just say that this was $1,000. We're going to keep this pretty simple. Now, travel, including lodging from your old home to your new home, does not include the cost of meals, but it does include the amount that you paid to travel from your old home to your new home. Transportation, lodging on the way, include costs for the day that you arrive. The members of your household don't have to travel together, but you can only include expenses for one trip per person. So a common move would be active duty member makes their own move, spouse and dependents follow. You can claim both trips, but you can't claim expenses for each person more than one time. So let's just say that that's $1,000. You add those two lines up, $2,000. Now in line 4, you're going to enter any total amount of reimbursements that of these expenses that is not included in box 1 of your W-2. If the amount of any reimbursement might show up in box 12 with a code P in that. So this would be, again, government reimbursement. So if you were reimbursed, say, $3,000, you wouldn't be able to claim this. But if you were only reimbursed $500, then yes, you could. You would put this $1,500 on Schedule 1, line 14, and that would be your qualified moving expense deduction. So the bottom line question, if the military covers most household goods moves, when would this be a practical thing? Well, if you look in the joint travel regulations, there is specific guidance as to when the military may provide PCS orders that are funded. For example, if you were stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, and you got reassigned from the Naval Operating Base in Norfolk to Little Creek, you generally would not receive funded permanent change of station orders because of the mileage involved. However, if you also happen to sell your house in Norfolk so that you can move to Virginia Beach, all of those moving expenses that would not have been reimbursed on your orders could be reimbursed at least partially as a tax deduction on your tax return. So again, this is for travel that's incurred in the year. It would have to be in conjunction with orders, so you can't just up and sell your house, move to another place. But that would be a likely candidate for, if the military service would not give you funded orders to move, but you still have orders to a new duty station, then you could possibly use that. So again, the definition of the permanent duty station, a move from one post of permanent post of duty to another permanent post of duty. According to the map, Norfolk is not far enough away from Little Creek, Virginia. That's the example that rings home for me to warrant funded PCS moves. But technically, that is a change of one permanent post of duty to another, and you would be able to claim that on your tax return. So that's all we have for this form. We've also recently updated the article, which you can find on teachmepersonalfinance.com. Simply type in 3903 or IRS Form 3903 into the search bar, and you'll see this the article pop up. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, please post them in the comments section. Thank you very much, and have a great day.